I met Judy, we flirted, kissed, but she said no romance. Later, I learned she lied about my feelings to others. Trust shattered. Note: I would like to apologize in advance for the extensive detail that will be included in this post, but I believe that if I do not provide the entire context, it may not fully make sense. So, brace yourselves, it will be a lengthy read. In 2022, I, 26, female, went to a double birthday dinner for two of my close friends. They were close to starting a relationship, so they wanted to begin merging their social circles, allowing for more events like this in the future. It was at this gathering that I met the focus of my post. Let's refer to her as Judy. From our initial encounter, I found her very attractive. Fortunately, it was clear she felt similarly, as she spent the evening inquiring about my interests, even reaching across the table to hold my hand at one point. As we exited the restaurant, she kissed me drunk, which I did not reciprocate since she was intoxicated. She expressed gratitude for my restraint, and we all departed for our separate destinations. When I reached my place, I was pleased to see that she had made it home safely, and she had followed me on Instagram. I made an effort to communicate with her as much as possible, and she reciprocated. About a month after our first encounter, I mustered the courage to ask her out, to which she joyfully agreed. It was a delightful evening. We cuddled through the night while sharing stories about our lives, workplace drama, how we met the two birthday boys, and discussing our interests during our free time. I discovered that we had much in common, resulting in a conversation that never felt stale. A few days after our date, she messaged me, saying that while she enjoyed spending time with me and getting to know me, she wasn't in a mental place for a relationship. Many people might say, "Oh, that's fine," without meaning it, but I genuinely accepted her feelings. We agreed to remain friends, and that was the situation until the summer of 2023. Judy and I had grown quite close. We frequently messaged each other, enjoyed coffee outings, and took walks around the city. Although a small part of me still held some romantic feelings for her, they were so insignificant that I hardly noticed them. Around this time, Judy started to become more flirtatious. She excessively complimented me, mentioned that we would make the hottest couple, and compared our dynamic to Morticia and Gomez Adams. Naturally, I felt a bit wary, but I enjoyed her attention and reciprocated with my own comments. All of this culminated at the end of summer bonfire she hosted at her house. I arrived slightly before most of the guests to help with the preparations and relieve some of the pressure on her. Upon my arrival, Judy was immediately affectionate. She held my hand, praised my outfit, carried my bags, and more. I will spare you the intricate details, but this led to us kissing multiple times, including a moment beneath the moonlight at the lake near her home. I know it sounds fabricated. For a fleeting moment, I felt as if I were in a romance novel. Unsurprisingly, after that night, my feelings deepened. Although we had never openly acknowledged our feelings, it was evident that we shared a mutual attraction. The pattern of "I like you, but I won't admit it" while we flirt endlessly, kiss in private, and I gaze at you from across the room whenever we're together, continued. In retrospect, I should have been concerned, but I was far too happy to let it bother me. Before I realized it, 8 months had passed and my birthday arrived once again. I reserved a hotel room for the two of us after she suggested it, located right in the heart of the city, ensuring it had 2 beds because I did not want to make assumptions. Once again, I arrived early to start my makeup and prepare for the evening ahead. Judy showed up shortly after finishing work, informing me that she would need to shower upon reaching the room. When I let her in, she dropped all her bags, gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, and immediately started removing her clothes while sharing details about her day. I did my best to avoid staring, as I wanted to be respectful, but then she asked if I would like to join her in the shower for a few minutes. Trying to play it cool, I told her she should have informed me before I began my makeup. In response, she laughed, winked, and said, "Next time, then." It took me a few minutes to calm my racing heart, but I eventually did and continued preparing. At that moment, I was entirely convinced that we were destined to become something more. What that would be, I wasn't entirely sure. However, I was eager to discover. The remainder of the evening went smoothly. Dinner was excellent, Judy met my closest friends, and we danced until late. I was grateful for the 2 beds, as we ended up bringing one of our friends along to the hotel to sleep off the alcohol. Judy shared a bed with them, just in case, while I took the other one, and was thankful for that, as I think I would have woken her up too many times with my bathroom trips and similar matters. After the celebration, Judy became somewhat distant. She barely responded to my messages, and when she did, her replies were lackluster. I began to spiral, wondering if I had said or done something I had forgotten. After discussing with a few friends, they all suggested I send her one long message apologizing, even if I believed I hadn't done anything wrong, and to confess my true feelings for her. So I crafted a message and sent it. Her reply: "You did nothing wrong, dear, and thank you for sharing your feelings, but I'm sorry, I only really see you as a friend." A surge of emotions overwhelmed me, most notably confusion. How could she have behaved this way for so long, and then claim to have absolutely zero romantic feelings for me? It just didn't add up. However, I accepted her response, told her it was fine, and proposed that if she wished, we could continue as friends but would need to establish some boundaries. No kissing, no overly flirtatious compliments, and if either of us made the other uncomfortable, we would discuss it. She expressed her appreciation for my understanding and assured me she would adhere to the boundaries I established. Of course, she did not, as the next time we met in person, we reverted to the old dynamic. She would tell me how fortunate the next person I date will be because of all the love I have to give, then bring up how beautiful our wedding would be, and ask what song we would have for our first dance, given the chance. Despite feeling deeply disrespected, I believed the best course of action was to ignore these comments and move forward. Ultimately, this strategy worked, as things began to settle between Judy and me. Our conversations became shorter but were still filled with jokes and memes we thought each other would enjoy, along with profound discussions about our emotions. I confided in her that while I was quite into her, I had written a few songs and poems about my feelings, as that was my preferred method of processing my emotions. She said she felt flattered and was glad I had writing as an outlet rather than bottling everything up. I assured her I would never publish these poems and songs, as I thought that would lead to awkward conversations with our future partners, and she agreed. Everything was calm and platonic, allowing us both the space to move on from the mess we had created. I thought it was over. I could not have been more mistaken. A couple of weeks ago, I met up with one of our mutual friends, let's call them Daphne, for an event. Prior to arriving, we started discussing Judy and her new partner, let's call him Isaac. We both agreed that we thought they were moving too quickly for just 3 months, but ultimately, it was Judy's choice, and we would be there for her however we could. I made a joke at my own expense about my past feelings for Judy, which initiated a new conversation that both enlightened and puzzled Daphne and me. As it turns out, Daphne, like most of our friend group, was unaware of the full extent of my relationship with Judy, as Judy had failed to mention all the overly romantic gestures she had shown me and claimed that my romantic feelings for her had no real basis. To further complicate matters and evade any responsibility, she had been telling people, including her new partner, that I was trying to befriend her for her sake and that I was obsessed with her, using personal things I had shared with her as the punchline for many jokes. A gut punch. Initially, I found it hard to believe, not because I thought Daphne would lie, but because I needed evidence before I could accept this conclusion. Fortunately, Daphne had older messages saved on her phone, so she retrieved them and showed me the exchanges. Many of them featured Judy acknowledging my feelings, stating that she was only still communicating with me because she felt guilty, while asserting that she would never see me romantically, but since I gave her so much romantic attention, she couldn't help but play into it. Another gut punch. That was the final straw for me. I could hardly believe I had placed my trust in someone so completely, sharing very personal aspects of my life, while they saw me merely as a source for their own self-esteem and the butt of their jokes. I took a few days to organize my thoughts and wrote a long, detailed message revealing what I had learned from unnamed sources and granting Judy a chance to clarify her actions. Her response. She largely placed the blame on her new partner, claiming he was very insecure about her remaining friends with me because he thought I was obsessed with her, suggesting some sort of competition between us. She insisted she had no idea what I was referring to and claimed she had only ever spoken of me positively. I told her he wouldn't have formed those ideas if she hadn't planted the seeds, and I clarified that there was no competition, as I am not the type to pursue someone in a relationship, which she was well aware of. I also confronted her regarding how she had made me feel, expressing that discovering this information genuinely hurt and caused me to feel the need to remain guarded. She apologized, which I appreciated, but simultaneously avoided taking accountability by making every effort to shift the blame onto her partner. After swapping a few paragraphs, I decided it was best to minimize our interactions. Since we are part of the same friend group, and I want to maintain harmony for their sake, I indicated that in social settings, we could engage in polite conversation, but outside of that, we would not have contact until I felt prepared. I cautioned her that even if that day came and I was eager to talk to her again, I would likely still keep it minimal, as I no longer trusted her. She did not argue with me, nor did she attempt to make amends in any way. Instead, she remarked that it was clear I had made my decision and expressed her love for me and how much she would miss me. It hurt. It still hurts. Most of my friends have assured me I made the right decision, but I worry their opinions might be biased because they are my friends. While I truly believe this was the best choice and feel validated in my decision, I still have lingering doubts. Therefore, I thought it would be beneficial to seek opinions here and ask the collective, did I make the right choice? Would you have approached this situation differently? Any and all feedback would be appreciated. Thank you.